Buenas tardes, buenos días, buenas noches, comunidad de LEC. Soy Iván Ramirez con mis gatos. Also, my cats are here with us today. And we're spotlighting different Expresión storytellers for cohort number 3. And today we are joined by Salvador Montanez. How are you?
Hola, hola, buenas tardes a todos. I'm doing good, just finishing the day today. So,
yeah.
And the weather is looking very nice. So, a lot of things to be happy for.
The weather is scary nice. Like it shouldn't be this nice.
Right?
July, how's it gonna be?
I will say I was looking at the weather in the morning and like it's supposed to like drop by like 20 degrees tomorrow morning. So.
Yeah. Hey, you missed the entire intro. You were looking down. I even had your picture on the intro for this.
Oh
you
my
missed
God.
it. I worked on it all night. I customized it so it will show you a picture and your school. But at the end of the interview, we can re-show it so you can.
All right. Sounds good.
Don't blink because it's real quick. Don't blink.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, I know our community knows you a little bit because we spotlighted you because you were also nominated for Latinx Educator of the Year, which just yesterday we sent. We announced the recipients, and today is going to be announced on social media. So,
congratulations! I know that was very exciting. It was very. I know. Like you said before. I have like been in some like events from you guys and with you, so it's very happy to be here.
No,
I like see you guys' faces.
We had a lot of teachers nominated from Guadalupe Centers. You all have a really supportive staff because I saw each other were nominating colleagues. Yeah.
Yes. Nice.
And then one of our futuros, not futuros, aspiring educator. She's also a Guadalupe Center high school student.
I know it's a really good community. I feel like everyone is very close in here. We're always like saying hi to each other when we see each other around. So,
well, I have your 3 descriptors. I don't know if you want to add any or tell us a little bit more. But I have educator. You are a listener and you are a creative. I didn't know that part of you.
All right. So I would say an educator because that is a very big part of myself. I'm here 5 days a week with my little ones.
Yeah.
If I'm not in here, I'm like working at home to like see how we can do everything better. Or I'm running to a store finding ways to like motivate these little ones. Today, I have to buy them palomitas or like popcorn. We're doing like a descriptive writing, so we're using our senses. So I was like, okay, like how does it make any sound? Is it crunchy? Is it soft, hard? A que huele? Things like that. So that's what I said. I'm an educator because that's a real a huge part of myself. I'd say that was creative because I feel like since I was little, I like to like color and paint and make little pictures. I like to like do a lot of things with my hands. So I feel like that's a really big part. And I also say a listener because I feel like I grew up with my primas and my sister. I was the only boy in the family. So I'm always listening to like all these things that are going on, todo el chisme, you know how it is.
Yes.
So I have learned to like listen a lot. And I also feel like that plays a really important role in not just to like listen to students, like with the content and all of that, but like cómo están esta mañana, what is going on. And I feel like I've been getting very good at like noticing when they're like, good. I'm like, tell me more. So I feel like I'm a really good listener to like other people. Not just the problems, but also like small celebrations. I like to be like, oh, what is going on in your life? What is something new? Tell me what's making you happy, you know?
And everybody really appreciates that when you're telling a story, and then days later, hey, how's your dad after the surgery, or how did your trip went with your family? So I bet you they really appreciate it. We just had our orientation, and then later on we'll talk about story listening. So you will find, yeah, hopefully it really speaks to you once we start talking about being a story listener
All
uh,
right, I'm
throughout
excited for it.
the fellowship. Being a creative, hopefully you can use some of your creative uh, creativeness once you start telling your story.
Right. You know, I would like keep seeing things and I'm like, oh, maybe in the future I will definitely like illustrate and like write a kid's book. So
Nah,
it's something I would like to like do in the future, but who knows? Maybe not this year, but like maybe like within a few years. I feel like that will be very, very exciting.
speak it into existence. You will be,
Right?
yeah, you will be an author. If you, well, we also had an orientation, and in there, Emily Francis, who was part of our cohort number one, she's an author. She wrote a book about her experience of being an immigrant in
Okay.
different stories. She wrote different stories in her book. So yeah, that's
Okay.
something.
I think I did hear something like that when she was introducing herself, and I was like, that's
Yeah.
exciting. And how do I do that?
It's possible. Yeah, it is possible. Okay, how do you hope to empower your Latinx students once you start going through the fellowship and yeah, will you roll as a storytelling fellow?
All right. Something that I think I hope to see they make. Well, first of all, I am a first grade teacher, so semestre de primero con los pequeñitos, they're 6 and 7. So I think something that I would like to see them doing is to help them identify themselves and kind of like their own experiences. Because in my classroom, I have a lot of kids who just moved from Honduras or Mexico or El Salvador. So I like to be like, oh, I did the same thing when I wasn't as little as them, but I was like, oh, when I was born and raised in Mexico, and then I moved here, and the language and all those things. So I'm like, you can do it. You can
Yeah,
be this thing. So I feel like it's very important for them to like see that someone has kind of like the same experiences. So I hope to give them some power in like, I can do it. I can do these
yeah,
things. And also use like their own little experiences. So they can like hopefully they can learn how to like talk about their experiences without feeling like, oh, no one wants to know about myself, no one wants to do this. And I think I'm very excited to like along the way of the fellowship to like know how to like incorporate all these things with my little ones, because we're getting to the point of like some of them are writing sentences and things like that. So but I feel like just like writing, just not just like writing, but speaking about all these things, talking about their experiences, their stories, because I would say I will hear some of the kids talk about, oh, when I was in Honduras, I used to like go here and I used to do that and I miss this. I had a kid that was like, oh, I miss when we were a comprar con mi abuelita al mercado and things like that. And I'm like,
yeah.
yes, all of those little stories. I'm like, yes, and I used to do that too. And like, trying to like connect with them. So maybe I will hope to like connect with them to like a bigger or like a deeper connection.
I think that's really powerful. At a very young age, you are allowing them to own their story and be proud of who they are, regardless of where they come from. So that's
Yes.
really empowering for the
Mhm.
students. It's liberating, which takes me to my next question. And maybe we already answered it, but what does engaging in storytelling as a practice of freedom means to you?
I just feel like, and I saw this on one of the responses that when I was working on, on the model,
Yeah,
someone said like, and I think it's one of the principles to like, you are the own creative or your stories, so just owning them and like, I feel like it will be like liberating or like feeling free of like, oh, I went through like all these things, and therefore, even though I went through all of this, I'm still here. and I'm doing all of this. So I feel like it will create like a safe, kind of like a safe space.
Mhm.
Stuff like that will be very, very important.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure, yeah, it will be similar how you create safe spaces in your classroom for them to share and be who they are. So, uh, what message or lesson do you hope your students walk away or take away from the stories that you share with them?
I just hope to like so they know, even though some of those stories are sad or something happened, they can learn and they can grow from it.
Hmm,
And I
hmm.
feel like so they can identify certain things. And I feel like I thought I even like even before like the storytelling, I feel like I joined the fellowship. I feel like I would talk about like, oh, like this happened to me, but even though that happened, I didn't give up. So every morning we do like positive affirmations. We
Ah,
got we have different ones where like I can be a good friend, I can be healthy, I'm in control of my life, I can make my own choices, little things like that. And I feel like that will be very, very good when like, oh, even though something doesn't go right, or even though you have like this experience in the past, make it, reshape it, and you can grow from it, you can learn.
learn, yeah. Well, no, thank you for that. I know that you're making a very big impact in the classroom. You, as a male educator, it's unique, and it shouldn't be that way. We need more representation in the classroom. But thank you for being that representation for students, especially, yeah, at Guadalupe Centers. We are, yeah, it was a short spotlight. Anything else you would like to share? What are you most
uh,
excited about?
I'm more excited about.
Yes, 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 yes.
I am very excited just about like learning like all these stories. Something that I would say is I want to get away from like that pobrecito kind of like mindset.
Yeah.
I know people were talking about it because like I said before, all my stories and all the past experiences that I have lived, they have like got me to this point. And sometimes when I think about all those things, and I'm like, oh, like when I was in high school, I was being made fun of because I didn't speak the language because I was just new to the country. And I remember like all these things of like, oh, I think one of the questions last when we met for orientation was like, um, think about a time where you were facing a challenge. How did that? And that came to mind, and I was like, I wouldn't be here because I remember we go home and me and my twin sister, we go home and we're like, ma, ya nos queremos ir para México porque aquí no nos tratan bien and things like that. And I'm like thinking about like, my mama, she was like, oh, you know what? She was like, yeah, we came here for a better life. We didn't come here to have you guys crying, making fun of, and like all these things. And I get to think, cómo hubiera haber sido tan diferente? Like, how different will it be si realmente nos hubiéramos regresado para México, you know?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be like, making all these things. So that's when I'm excited to like to get away from that mindset of like pobrecito. Because when I think about it, like I'm like, oh yeah, but like people go through the same thing all the time.
Mhm.
But I don't want to be like just because it happens very often. Like I should think less of myself. So that pobrecito mindset, I feel like it's always there with me. So I'm excited to learn how to get away from it.
Yeah, we did talk about how we bring, yeah, asset mind, yeah, how to have an asset mindset, and we bring uh, with us different strengths. Your family was a point of strength for you to continue being in education. So I'm glad you guys didn't leave.
I
I
know
hope
and to
yes.
this point, there's still are a huge support.
Hmm.
So, and I feel like we are still growing together. So I'm very excited to have that because I did mention before. I describe myself as a listener, but I feel like when it comes to like, because I can listen to a million people and I can be like, oh no no no, like we gotta do this, but then I feel bad because of certain things. Then I'm like, oh, but like it happened to me, but it can happen to anybody, you know? So I'm like, oh, I shouldn't feel bad for myself because I'm experiencing. So I'm gonna be like, yes, I want to like own those little moments that happen and like, learn from them and grow from those points.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for spending time after school with us today. Hopefully you had a good day, and then you have a great afternoon también.
You
But
too.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing you every Saturday, and I also want to give a shout out to Luis Ortega, founder and director of Storytellers for Change,
Yes.
who is leading us through this, and he's amazing, right?
Yes. No, he is. I
Yeah,
guys, both of you, Edgar, Susan, and everyone else who's involved. I know it will be such a
yeah.
very good experience.
Well, thank you. You have a great afternoon. Hey, don't miss the video because you missed
I,
it.
I will keep I will keep my eyes on it. All right.
Okay, here it goes. Adios, LC community. Catch you later at the next spotlight for Expresión Storyteller Fellows. Cohort 3.